Gentlemen No Class is proud to be a part of the HC Universal Network. Gentlemen No Class is produced, mixed, and edited by M5 Studios.
This podcast contains explicit language and is intended for adult audiences. The views and opinions of Gentlemen No Class are strictly for comedic purposes and should not be taken literally. For instance, like this disclaimer. Now grab yourself a pint and enjoy.
Oh, welcome to another episode of Gentlemen No Class, a podcast that when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. I don't know what the fuck did I just say? The weird turn pro. I'm Jake.
And I'm Rob.
And like it or not, gentle ladies and gentlemen, we are the two hosts for tonight's episode.
Yeah, we're fucking running solo. I guess it's not solo if we're a duo, though, right?
No. It's dynamic.
All right.
Like a dynamic duo.
Yeah, so Paul was out last episode because he went to go see Thrice, and then I guess he's not feeling well tonight, so we let him off the hook. But
just this once.
So Jake and I decided that we weren't going to set up the table, and we've crashed on the couch and set up some mic stands, and we're just fucking relaxing, drinking some beers.
I think it's better, if you ask me.
I think it's pretty.
Paul needs to probably miss more often, I think. This couch and this mic right here is very Joe Rogan-ish, kind of, I guess you could say. And
I don't think it's Joe Rogan-ish.
Well, the way the mic is, because he uses a mic. Oh no, he doesn't use a mic like a actual
no.
Mic
He
stand.
uses those
stand.
Rode stands for the table.
That's true.
This is very like who else has a podcast that they podcast like this? Like
it is kind of cool though. It is.
Doesn't Jim Gaffigan have a podcast?
Probably. I think Adam Carolla,
and
Toyota
Tom
Corolla.
Segura.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I think so. They have it like
very
that.
Tom Segura, like hanging out with the lights down.
Yeah, you
know what I mean. So
I like it.
So current events, like you want to talk about the coronavirus?
Yeah, it was on my agenda. COVID-19?
Yeah,
and the hysteria. There's no more hand sanitizers on Amazon.
Dude, you can't get toilet paper or bottled water anywhere, basically.
You can't find toilet paper?
Dude, Costco's been selling out of toilet paper. A lot of the major like bulk retailers have been.
Is that like antibacterial? Like what the hell?
Well, it's in case they quarantine you in your house.
That makes sense.
I don't think it makes that much sense.
Well, I don't know why you would.
If you're quarantined in your house, just take a shower every time you shit.
But what? Yeah, I guess you're right.
You know what I mean? It's not like they're turning off the water.
Yeah,
it's not like this shit is a toxin spread by like dirty water or something. Like, you know what I mean?
You know, you get it from drinking Corona. Which is why we don't ever touch that shit. We touch only.
Oh my god,
Eureka Heights, baby.
Yeah, we are drinking Eureka Heights. I'm still on the Wicked Awesome kick. Yeah, I'm digging it.
I'm on the Mini Boss. I don't think I'm turning away from Mini Boss. In fact, I did have the, I believe it's called Axe Hat.
Oh yeah,
that stuff is amazing.
Yeah, so Eureka Heights came out to an event last weekend that my mom and some people threw for Rare Disease Day on February 29th out in Sugar Land. And Eureka Heights was kind enough to bless us with their presence and hand out some free samples of beer, which was awesome. So they got a lot of new fans that day.
Oh, yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Jake, you were out there taking video and photography.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty cool. So we had a good time, man. Like the band played, and like we did a good. I think we did.
Weather was amazing.
The weather was fucking awesome.
Can't ask for better weather.
Yeah, sure. I mean the event ended right as the sun was hitting the stage, so we were like perfect, man, fucking perfect. But yeah, I mean, anyway, back to we're talking about Rare Disease Day, but. Back to the coronavirus, so there was a thing that came out that said like 47% of Americans said that they won't drink Corona beer in fear of getting the coronavirus. Did you read that?
I did not read that, but it doesn't surprise me.
So, but then I read a little bit deeper into it, and I read like the study that was put out, and it's not like it was put out by anybody like, you know, like respectable.
Oh.
It was by a marketing company.
Oh.
And basically, like, they polled, it was 47% of beer drinkers that were polled and 47% of beer drinkers that were polled said that they wouldn't drink Corona. If they were going to drink a Corona, they wouldn't drink a Corona anymore because of fears of the coronavirus. Which, like, when you put it in context of that, that's a significantly less number of people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
it has. I mean, do they like legitimately think that they're going to get the virus because they're drinking Corona?
Dude, I don't know.
I mean, I don't get that at all. It has to be a little like spoof, like haha gag.
I don't think so, man. I think that Americans are pretty stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general. So, sure. I mean, I honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if people did actually think that they were going to get the fucking coronavirus from drinking Corona.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, how many people have died from the flu? Like
way more people die from the flu every day than have died from Corona.
Exactly. And, you know, I was watching this YouTube video and it kind of put everything in perspective. A lot more people die from the flu. And the coronavirus only really affects, and just like kind of like the flu does, but like the babies and like post 70-year-old, you know, seniors.
Yeah, like people that are already susceptible to having have suppressed immune systems, or that are already like at risk of, you know, contracting it and having, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? Like that they may already have, you know, like if they got the flu, they would be fucking hard pressed to recover from.
What's sad about this is how the media blows this over, you know, oversaturates this for everyone. Like I was talking to a doctor and I told the doctor, like, hey, listen, be real with me. How bad is this coronavirus? And it's like, you know, the media's blowing it up. It's crazy, and it's messed up because you got like Austin canceling South by Southwest.
Dude, that's huge. Austin canceling South by is huge. And
you got airlines that are suffering because no one wants to travel anymore. And really, it's just like you said, more people die from just a general influenza, not the freaking coronavirus. I mean, swine flu was a big hit, and again. What's crazy about the swine flu, my wife was in college at the time, and she got swine flu while she was at A&M.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. It was just a bad flu bug. She recovered. Just like the coronavirus. A lot of people are getting them. They're recovering. It's just really the seniors and the babies that are, I guess, are perishing.
Yeah, thin the herd a little bit, you know?
Why not?
Oh, Jesus. I mean...
No, it'll be messed up if it was like if this was man-made. That'll be fucking crazy.
So that's the thing. So if it's not another pandemic, and this is just something that is happening, so where does that put us? Do you think that, like, I don't think this was a man-made flu by any scope of the imagination, right. But what would you like? Do you think this is something along the lines of like the media panic? To get our minds off of, you know, like make people not concentrate on what's going on with like the Democratic primaries and stuff.
And I thought about that, like, oh wow, it just happens right with the Democratic primaries.
Yeah, and you know what else? You know what else it takes your mind off of is all the protests in Hong Kong. When was the last time you heard anything about that in the news?
What are they protesting about?
Their freedoms. That
you're right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? When was the last time? You know what I mean? Like that shit's still happening. So, like, it's weird that it's just kind of odd timing.
Yeah. That Bluetooth, baby. Checking the news here.
That's what you get.
And the Bluetooth captures my shit. But, yeah, I mean, what's funny is that when something breaks out, the media breaks something out, look at what's going on in the world, and you're right, the Democratic Party primaries.
Ask what you think that they were trying to get your mind off of, or trying
the Astros being tarnished. I'd like to get my mind off that shit, but
my mind's off of it, bro. we're going full heel, bro.
I know, but change it to ESPN. They always talk about it. It's annoying. They don't have nothing else to talk about.
Dude, there's a whole I read this whole big article about people posting pictures and stuff like that from the 2017 season.
Yeah, okay.
And they're like, so the rule, Ryan, we talked about this with Ryan. The whole deal was you're not allowed to have technology to steal signs anymore. Right. Well, it wasn't just that. You're not allowed to have technology in the dugout at all.
Except the phone.
The phone.
It goes to the bullpen.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's all these pictures of all these teams, including the Dodgers, during the playoffs with iPads in the fucking with what on the game and everything.
Jeez.
During the playoffs, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, all the major teams, everybody was doing it. I think that the Astros really just got chastised the worst because they won.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? Like had they not have won, like it probably would have been, glossed over by everybody else.
It's always to see the king. It's great to see the king fall, you know, and that's what they're doing. And I mean, getting everybody talk about it, sure, why not? I guess we're just going to win, that's all it's going to.
Yeah, we're just going to win the whole fucking thing. So,
but yeah.
You struggling over there a little?
No, I'm just trying to get this mic. It's kind of creeping down. That's good. Daddy can make it work. I saw this damn. I was looking for this article. I don't want to really cipher or quote it because I don't know exactly what it was, but it was pretty much talking about the technology being used around the league under the table, but it was never brought out up until recently. And like a couple days ago.
Well, the whole thing was like it wasn't illegal. Like Ryan was saying, it wasn't illegal until the 2017 season. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's
fuck it.
We don't need to revisit it.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So,
anything else on the new front?
No movie news or anything. It's been remarkably quiet as far as. There's been some things dropping about Matt Reeves' Batman. Did you see the pictures of the Batmobile?
No, I have not.
It looks like a fucking Chevelle. It looks like a muscle car with a big ass engine sticking out the back of it.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
interesting.
It's pretty interesting. Not a whole lot else. Like Black Widow's supposed to drop soon. You're not hearing a whole lot of stuff. Like ever since Endgame, like Marvel's kind of just quietly like, okay, we're just taking a breather, and I feel like it's not the calm before the storm, but like we're gonna see like a new side of Marvel where they're not putting out movies like every 3 or 4 months with a continuing storyline. You know what I mean?
Well, what's the newest movie coming out? Like
Black Widow.
And that has to be sometime in May, I think, right?
I think so. And then
there has to be something that comes out like around the Free Comic Book Day. It's always like a big hit movie. And is it Black Widow?
Black Widow's coming out April 24th.
April 24th, okay.
And then Wonder Woman 1984 comes out June 5th.
Okay, so that just a tag team, I guess. Not really a tag team, but go against each other. It's like Home Depot and Lowe's. They always build around each other. It's stupid.
Supposedly the Eternals comes out the end of this year, but I don't think that's going to happen.
That's a TV show, right?
No, that's going to be a movie.
Oh, movie. Very nice. Okay. Oh. I don't know. About the Matt Reeves Batman, I mean, Batman's my jam. I'm kind of.
I know. That's why
I'm kind of burned out though, and
really?
I hate. Well, the reason why is because, I mean, it's not going to be a Nolan film, and I think those are the best films as far as the Batman franchise. Even though Ben Affleck, Batfleck, it was decent. Man of Steel was great, and when you have them going against each other, just that last like maybe 30 minutes of the movie was pretty fantastic for me. But I'm just kind of tired of redoing the bat suit and everybody getting all horny off the bat suit. And when I saw it, I didn't like it too much. But then again, it's not a good picture of it, I guess. And like now, it's a muscle car. Okay, that's fine. We'll try it out.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing. Like my whole deal with it was like, well, I mean, and some of the people online were like, well, that looks like something that somebody could actually build.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it doesn't look like some like bullshit ass, rat rod thing. You know what I mean? Like or something that like you could never see from somewhere else.
Well, not everyone's a billionaire. I'm sure you could do a lot with a fucking $1 billion or whatever Bruce Wayne is. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'll watch it.
Multiple billions of dollars. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. What's your thoughts on Robert Pattinson being Batman? We haven't really talked about that.
I'm a fan of it. Like, he's a great actor. I'll give him a fair shake. I think I'm more excited him being Batman than when I heard Ben Affleck being Batman, because I was like, why? At the time, and it was decent. I mean, I'd liked him more in Batman versus Superman than Justice League. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Justice League was like a comedy.
God, dude, Justice League I watched it again the other day. I watched the extended edition.
Oh wow, okay.
And I don't know, man. It was just all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
it just was like, I don't know. Like you're just that. Like it's like all of them going up against Steppenwolf, and you're like, there's no way they can beat this guy. And it's just like conveniently they had, brought Superman back from the dead.
Yeah.
But he wasn't going to roll out there with them.
Yeah.
Like he was just going to be like, oh, whatever. And like, why even roll out there? Just be like, dude, why even try? Like, let's just go convince Clark to go out there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
He was still pissed off because he had to sport the stash.
Dude. And then I watched Mission Impossible Fallout. So that's something we can talk about.
Uh-huh.
So, I know you own all the Mission Impossible movies because I watched them off of your Vudu account.
I have not seen all of them, unfortunately.
You haven't seen them all?
No.
Which ones haven't you seen?
After the second one, probably. And I hate to say that, and the reason why I didn't buy those, this other guy that I share with bought them.
So here's my take on the Mission Impossible movies. The second one, Mission Impossible 1, was really good. I remember watching it the first time and being like, I don't understand what happened. And I had to go watch it again. And then I was like, oh, I kind of understand. Like, now I get where he, like, where how it went down and everything.
Yeah.
But then I remember watching the second one, and the second one was so, like,
that was the one with Gamora in it, right? That chick?
No, I don't think that's. I don't think that's
her.
Zoe Saldana, but it does look like her.
I think that was like the first time I've seen her, and I'm like, man, that chick is pretty hot.
She is, but I don't think
it may not be her then.
I don't think it's her. I'm going to look it up.
Fact check, please.
But anyway, the what's funny is that no, that was Thandie Newton.
So no, it wasn't her then.
It was not her.
Okay.
But she was in Westworld.
Okay.
So what?
Tomato.
So what throws what I don't know. So the Mission Impossible movies, the second one, like if you watch the first one and you were a fan, and then you watch the second one, and then you were just like, I'm fucking done with these Mission Impossible movies
already.
You really got to give them another shake and go watch the third one.
Okay,
because the third one through the last of them are really good.
I heard they're phenomenal.
The last two are really good.
I heard it's great. Yes, I guess for me, I'm tired of the like come on type movies, like Fast and the Furious or the John Wick. Like really, like that shit.
Well,
I would have been dead like in 5 minutes. The Expendables. I guess that's like way over the top. I guess, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I heard like the last two of Mission Impossible movies were phenomenal.
They were. Honestly, and like Henry Cavill was great in Mission Impossible 6. I think it was 6 was Fallout. Yeah, and that's the one that came out in 2018. And then Rogue Nation was 2015. Those were the last two. And then Ghost Protocol was 2011. That was one with Jeremy Renner. But like, what was Mission Impossible 3 then? That was the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman. That one was pretty good too. But like, I think that like, I get what you're saying. Like, you don't like the franchise movies. Like, oh my god, like I'd have been like you don't like the James Bond movies either. Then
honestly, I never really got into them. I never did.
Oh, man.
I know that's a shame. I mean, when I saw a couple of them, I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'll watch it, but I don't know, man. It doesn't do it for me. It really doesn't. That
Not
sucks.
enough Mexicans.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with that, man.
Bullshit.
But it has nothing to do with that. But it's just, I don't know, man. Maybe like the franchise type movies, like Fast and the Furious. I got into them, like Fast and Furious 1.
Well, what about Star Wars?
Good point, man. Good point.
What about Marvel?
No, a good point, man. I guess because those are all fantasy. And
you're saying that
no, Fast and the Furious is probably more likely to happen more than fucking space travel.
Really?
I mean, I'm just saying. It's like, okay, whatever.
Let's be honest
man.
with yourself.
I mean, it's going to happen way quicker than the Star Wars thing.
Maybe.
No, you don't think so?
I don't know, man. I don't know if you've watched the Fast and the Furious movies. But,
yes, I've seen them. Like,
there's a lot of shit in there that's like,
can't happen. They're jumping from rooftops to rooftops, and it's stupid, right? But I mean, I could see that a little bit more believable
than a lightsaber.
Like, you know, what's that parkour, whatever it's called?
Parkour.
Is that what it's called?
No, it's like parkour.
Oh, yeah. Well, they jump from roof. I mean, they do that shit that you see in Fast and Furious movies, kinda. Yeah. Whatever.
I like watching the parkour movies, like the videos on YouTube where they fall and hurt themselves.
Or like
where they
20 stories. And shit?
Yeah, where they miss a jump
and they die.
Like, no, they don't die, but they'll like go jump like and try to like. They'll like do a flip off a building onto a dumpster or whatever, and like they're trying to like hit the dumpster and then like backflip off of it. But the dumpster's like one of the ones with the plastic lids, and they just fall into the dumpster and shit. Or they like barely miss the wall and like fall. Oh man, it's awesome.
You know who the original OG that I used to love watching doing that was? The ending credits in Jackie Chan movies. Whenever he did all his own stunts and he fucks it up and shit, and like, god dang, that was great. Like, I watched Mr. Nice Guy recently. And I don't know if you ever seen Mr. Nice Guy.
I don't think that I've seen any Jackie Chan movies except for the Rush Hour movies.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Those are like cult classics.
I haven't seen them.
Like First Strike or Rumble in the Bronx.
No, I've never seen them.
Oh, that's fucking great. You're missing out. Well, at the end of those movies, I don't know if Rush Hour. I think
Rush Hour did it too, because he did all his own stunts in there also.
So yeah, in those older movies, it shows like him fucking up in those stunts and shit like that. It's pretty good. But yeah.
Interesting. I may have to go watch some of those. I always am in the, trying to watch movies that I haven't ever seen that I should have probably seen.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a decent segue
there you go.
into our topic of tonight. So, for many months now, Jake has been really, really dying to get me to watch The Godfather. I've never seen The Godfather, or any of the other, or Godfather 2 or Godfather 3. I think that I've read synopsises about them, about them or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of read what they're kind of about. But it never, I don't know, man, those Italian mafia movies, I mean, they just don't really do it for me. You know what I mean? Like I like The Departed. The Departed was really good. And so,
what about Goodfellas?
Goodfellas was okay. Goodfellas was good also.
Casino?
I haven't never seen Casino.
Okay, that's another.
There's another movie on my list that I need to go watch. So,
okay, well.
So I did sit down this week and I watched The Godfather, and then I watched The Godfather 2.
Why did you watch The Godfather 2?
Because I was looking for something else to watch, and it was there and it was available. So I was like, well, I might as well watch it and see what happens next. I was kind of intrigued by, the storyline set up in the first one and everything. And I was kind of, at that point, you're kind of invested in the characters a little bit, and it was there. So I wanted, I watched it. So, now when I texted you and I asked you, hey Jake, how long is The Godfather? You were like, 2 hours plus. It was 2 hours and like 45 minutes.
I think it's 2 hours and 58 minutes actually.
And then Godfather 2 is like 3 hours and 20 something minutes.
Yeah,
it's so long that even on the digital copy, there's a fucking intermission. So that's how long it is.
Did you sit through all of Godfather 2? Because that is a haul, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have them playing while I'm working.
Okay,
so like when I'm really focused on something, like I have to pause the movie and like work and take a phone call and stuff like that. But I have them playing and I'm kind of watching, kind of half paying attention. I know when I need to like really pay attention. If I don't know what's going on, I'll kind of rewind the movie to kind of see what I missed and stuff like that. So one of the things like you wanted to talk about was what, like me having never seen it, my opinion on why I think that, and kind of an open discussion about why is it always on everybody's list of being the best or either number one or number two of the best movies of all time. Right. That's kind of what you were saying.
Yeah. I mean, if you Google Godfather and the rankings of the best movies of all time, Godfather is going to be in the top 5.
Probably think that's top 3.
Okay. Safe bet for sure. So and it's so subjective. I mean, some people don't even like you said, those Italian mob movies and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to see if there's any debate on that. If you think it should be in that top tier or is that subjective?
So here's my opinion on it. After having watched the movie, I think that the reason that I had to check myself while I was watching the movie. So like I was watching the movie and like something would happen and I'd be like, oh, this is what's going to happen next. Typical Italian mafia movie. And I had to stop myself and go, no, this is the original Italian mafia movie. Everything else is based off of this. So I had to kind of check myself a little bit and go, okay, like realize that Godfather did it first. So don't discount it. Just realize that like everything that in this movie that it was done, this is all the original time that it was being done. Right. Like it wasn't, you know, a replication of another time that it happened or, you know, something like that. You know what I mean? Like when you start having characters, like certain, you know, things happen, you know, you start to, you're like, oh, this is what's going to happen. He's going to fucking whack this guy in the car. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, you know, like it sets up certain things and you're like, you know, you feel like you know what's going to happen. And then when it happens, you're like, oh, man, just like fucking every other fucking, you know, mafia movie.
Yeah. I can see that.
I had to like I said, I had to like sit there and tell myself, no, this is the original. So like I had to give it made me like reevaluate my opinion on the movie kind of as I was watching it. So, I can see why it's everybody's favorite movie, why it's on the list, but there's a couple of things that I don't understand. So
do tell, sir.
A couple of things that I don't get, like why certain things happen or why certain people are praised. Okay, so I don't understand why Marlon Brando is praised as having done such a great job in that movie, because I feel like he didn't do much of anything in that movie.
I can see that. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just him kind of being it's nothing out like he didn't do anything crazy like the way I guess like maybe Sonny, the way he's so kind of flamboyant and outgoing and stuff like that, and a hothead. You can see why, you know, who the hell plays Sonny? James Caan. James Caan, yeah. I don't know, man. Like in that opening scene of Godfather, when I think his name is Bonacera is talking, there's like a 5-minute dialogue scene of him just talking to the Don, but you don't see Don Corleone's face at all. You just see Bonacera talking, and you see the camera going to it, and it's like it's all one take. And then someone comes up to the Don and says something to him, and you see Marlon Brando as Don Corleone with the cat, and like. That fun fact on that scene, that cat was a stage cat. It was just a little stray on the set.
You could tell because he was playing around with Marlon Brando.
Yeah. So during that time, Marlon was like, you know what? Give me that cat. It's going to be good for the character. So he's petting the cat. And during that scene, the cat's fucking clawing him and biting him and everything. And he's just still not breaking character. And it's kind of going with Bonacera saying that, you know, it's not justice. I'm not going to kill those people. And because he wants to kill them for, I guess, what they did to his daughter and stuff like that. But I mean, I can see where you're coming from. It's nothing really out there that's like, wow, he did a great job. I mean, he played a great character.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm just like, I don't. So one thing that really struck me, and I'd like to get your opinion on this, is here's the fact: there's a lot of A-list celebrities in that movie.
Right?
Do you think that the movie made them A-list celebrities, or do you think that they were such good actors that that's why the movie was so good?
Wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Because think of the cast list you have: Pacino, Brando, James Caan,
Duvall,
Robert Duvall, Abe Vigoda. Who played Kay?
She's a big time actress.
Yeah,
I forgot her name.
Diane Lane.
Diane Lane. There you go. Jeez, who else? Yeah, I mean,
you just have a ton of A-list celebrities. Yeah. Even some of them are in, smaller roles. You know what I mean? Like they're not like huge roles that.
See, in that movie, did anybody act?
Diane Keaton, not Diane Lane.
Diane Keaton, that's right. Any of their acting, did anything stick out? like in that whole movie. I mean,
and that's what I'm saying. I think that's why the movie is so good.
Yeah.
It's because they're such good actors. It doesn't stick out to you as acting. And I think that's what makes a good movie. When you have a good movie, when you really think about like what makes a good movie and what makes, what makes you get lost in the movie is when you can lose yourself in the character. When you're not like looking at a character and like, why is he doing like, that's not, you know what I mean? Like, that's why, like, think about, like, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Right. When you see Captain Jack Sparrow, you don't see Johnny Depp acting like Captain Jack Sparrow. You see Captain Jack Sparrow.
Right.
That's why the Marvel movies are so good. When you see Chris Evans, you see Captain America. You don't see goofy Chris Evans. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't see, and that's what great acting is.
Well, think about Pacino's character, Michael Corleone.
So and that's another thing. That's a really interesting character. And go ahead with what you were going to say, because I feel like.
Well, okay, so he's introduced into that movie as coming back from the military and visiting the wedding of Connie's wedding, his sister, and he's just a plain dude, just coming back from the military, doesn't even want any part of the business. But you see over the course of time his character evolve and becoming the Don, but during that time you see that he becomes a little bit more ruthless based on what he's witnessed in his life. Like he had to go to that restaurant and kill I forgot whatever that guy's name,
Captain
Officer McCluskey, and what the hell is his name, Salasso, yeah, and kills him at the restaurant, and then he has to go to Italy and be in hideout for about a year or two, and he gets married to his girl, and they kill her, so he sees all this stuff, and he realizes, like, you know what, he's already in, like, even though he didn't want to be in the family business, he has to be in now, and you see him mature.
Well, but I disagree with you on that.
Okay.
I think that, like, what happens in that movie, and it's all open kind of interpretation of how the events play out, but so he's not in it. Like, he is, like, they even say, like, no, they know that he's a neutral, like, he's not in it, like, they're never going to suspect Michael, you know what I mean? And Michael, like, he goes to war. He serves his country. He enlists in the Marines himself.
Right.
He was in college and he enlists in the Marines. And then he's coming back from war. His sister Connie's wedding. His dad is obviously, like, favors him above most everybody else in the family because he chose to not be in that life and chose a different route by joining the military. Or going to college, actually, and then he comes back after the military. So, but the thing that draws him in is not any of the other events. What draws him in is the attempted murder of his father.
Right.
So they attempt to kill his father, and I don't think even at that point he's like, I'm in. Like, I think at that point he's still like, I don't have, like, I can do this because, like, I was in the military. I've already killed people. Like, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Like, I can kill these two guys and it won't be, like, we can just make sure that happens. And then you guys make sure that, I'm protected. Like, if I have to go to Italy, okay, that means I have to go to Italy.
Right.
But like, I don't think that he was at that point. I don't think that he was like, all right, I'm in it. I think that he was just like, I'm going to go to Italy and let things die down and then come back and restart my life when I come back, and I'll rejoin Kay and, like, we'll have our own family and, everything will be copacetic. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then, like, that whole deal follows him to Italy, and, like, he gets married over there. Like, I think that's why he gets married over there, because he's like, you know what? If I go back, like, I'm gonna be in that life,
of course,
and like, I don't want that. So, like, I met this hot girl with, like, nice perky little titties.
But why did he come back?
He came back because they killed her.
No, and he got word that they killed Sonny.
Oh, that's right.
So he came back and he's like, well, fuck, shit's going crazy, and I guess that's during the time where. That's when the Don Corleone goes and has a meeting with the families.
Yeah.
And said, I don't want anything happening to his son, Michael. So then he comes back, and
because he's like, I'm not going to seek vengeance for Sonny's death. Like, let's just squash this.
Exactly.
Be done. Because the Don doesn't want to get involved in drugs.
Right.
Because he's like, drugs are just like that's not an honorable business to be in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But he ends up going ahead and share his political power and okays the drugs in that meeting. But I'm trying to figure out, why did Michael come back and start moving shit around? Like, because he goes to Vegas and has that meeting with Mo Green. I think he was going to Vegas on behalf of Don Corleone.
Yeah, because Vito wanted to try to take the family legitimate.
Right.
And like, that was his goal. And so Michael kind of shared that vision with him and was like, well, if we get, a hold of this and this and this, like, then we don't have to worry about, doing all these, fucked up under the ground things. We can move away from New York City. We can move to Nevada, and then we have, all the power in Nevada and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So I think that, like, at that point, like, Michael comes back because that war kind of follows him from Italy to Italy.
Yeah.
So, like, he gets word that Sonny dies, but I think that, like, he says that he's not coming back. He's like, well, that's, my father can handle that. Like, that's their deal. Then they kill his wife, and he's like, fuck, man, like, this is gonna follow me, like, no matter what. Like, even though my father's, like, tried to make peace with them, they've already tried to kill him, whatever. Like, and then his dad dies of a heart attack or whatever.
Yeah.
So then he has to take over.
That's what it is. He has to take over. That's right, because the father passed, and there's no Sonny, and then, Fredo.
Fredo.
Yeah, he's not going to fucking do anything.
You broke my heart, Fredo.
Oh, man. That's
the second one, though.
That's the second one. And we can get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, then, then he goes to Vegas, and, there's that one scene that he says, Fredo, you're my older brother, and I love you, but don't ever take sides against the family, ever. I'm like, oh, fucking Fredo, you fucking up again, man. You need to stop this shit.
Yeah. And that was one of the things, like, and I think that Vito knew that. Like, he knew that about Fredo.
Exactly.
Like, he knew that Fredo couldn't handle it. That's why
he sent him to Vegas.
That's why he
fuck away from
and then Fredo fucked it up anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the at the end of the movie, what really gets me about this movie is the fact that, like, Al Pacino plays such a cold, calculating character.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He does, yeah.
He's not, like, very typical Al Pacino in this movie.
Like a hothead in all his other fucking movies and shit?
He never raises his voice. He never yells at anybody.
He did at the end with Kay, when Kay questioned if he did that shit with Carlo, and Kay was like,
oh yeah, that's right. He's like, don't you ever question?
Yeah, don't question my business.
I'll let you ask me this one time, and then he lies to her.
Like, of course, yeah, he had to. Like,
he didn't have to. But like, it's.
I don't know, man. It's like, you got to keep the I guess her calm, and I get, I don't know, man. Maybe he didn't have to, but. Just that scene, that closing scene is great, where she's like, "Oh, well, thank God you didn't." And she leaves, and then you hear them in the office, like, Don Corleone, and they kiss his hand, and then the door closes, and bam, done. Perfect freaking closing of that movie.
Yeah, I agree, and that's kind of like the back to full circle, Sonny's, that he's taken the role of the Don, and you know what I mean. So, Michael's taken the role of the Don, and kind of fallen into it perfectly. You know what I mean? But because, like, it's like when you look at it, like, he's moved all these pieces into position,
right,
and then he just pulls the trigger all at once, and just all these bodies, just boom, 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 all his enemies dead.
Man, at the end,
all the 5 families dead. You know what I mean? It's.
Then that sit down with Carlo, where he's like,
he's like, what do you think? I'm going to make my
sister a widow?
Yeah, he says, make my nephew an orphan.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. He goes, you think I'm going to make my nephew an orphan and my sister a widow? And then, his sister is Talia Shire.
Yes, that's Rocky.
Right, from Rocky. So yeah, I mean, and then he fucking has him killed anyway. You know what I mean? That's just some cold shit right there.
Like, oh man,
because he's like, it doesn't fucking matter. He's like, you don't fucking step against the family. Like this is
don't insult my intelligence. Like he's like, just tell me who it was, but don't lie to me. That makes me very angry. And like you can see, like Michael's becoming a little bit more fucking of a ruthless character.
Yeah.
Like I don't give a fuck. You're done. You know. Oh, I don't know. Just think of Francis Ford. Like when he directed that movie, every single shot. And I guess this is me being into the video and camera thing, but like every single shot that he did, you can actually like freeze frame it and put a frame around it and hang that shit on the wall. Every fucking shot, it's perfectly done. You know, it's not like a bland shot, like, okay, it's just a little filler. But I mean, you can literally freeze frame every single shot. Just try to, when you watch the movie again, if you ever do, pay attention to that and you see like, wow, it adds more to the fucking movie. And that's probably why it's up there. And I still think it's probably up there. Even if people don't think mob movies are, their jam, just the way the storytelling was, it was shot, the dialogue. They didn't have to overact at all in that movie. Even the fucking the baker, whenever they had to move Vito from one hospital room to another hospital room.
Oh, and he's like, fix your collar up.
Fix your collar. And
he's shaking.
Like, geez, like, I don't know. That's freaking fantastic.
The way that everybody was like, that everybody's kind of on pins and needles around Michael and Vito all the time. They're scared of him.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, I mean, that's one of those things. Like, I get what you're saying. It's one of those real interesting like aspects of that movie, and I agree. It's not my favorite movie, but I can see why it's on everybody's like
radar.
Best. I mean, it's shot really well. The storyline flows extremely well. There's no like plot holes in it. It's very believable, which is a big thing for me, especially. I mean, what got me is like some of the special effects with the gunshots, like the blood packets and stuff like that. Those were kind of cheese dick, but I mean, for back in 1972, Godfather came out. So I mean, it was pretty good for what it was. I mean,
and that's the thing, like the whole fight scene with Sonny and Carlo out in the alley with a fucking fire hydrant, in the water and shit. And you could totally tell those are like freaking, Sonny didn't even try to punch Carlo. It's like, there's like a foot away from his face and you hear the freaking smack and everything. And it's so cheesy, right? But I mean, it doesn't take away from the story because there is a fight scene there. And they could have probably hired some actors to do that scene and make it a little bit more believable. But it was, I guess, maybe it was made in 72, and you just have to kind of go with it. But you're right, like the blood packets with like even when Sonny gets killed at the toll booth, and you see all those like when they're shooting him, you see the little like explosions come off his vest.
Yeah,
and shit. Like it's like, jeez, it's hilarious. But
and I mean it doesn't get any better in like the Godfather Part 2. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
There's a lot of like really like cheese dick special effects in that one too. But I mean, in the Godfather, like they kind of like give you the background of like the families, and like they set the tone and like what the mafia is all about. Now, I'm curious, and maybe the answer to this, like how true to life is that? You know what I mean? Is that something that how true to life are mafia families like that, or was that pretty accurate? Or?
Maybe at one time, man. There's this YouTube channel I follow, and I forget what it is, but it's always in my feed, and it's about this one guy who served his time as he wasn't a boss, or he was a boss. He wasn't he wasn't a boss. That's right. He was just like a made man or something like that. And all the stories and questions that he answers relates a lot to what the movies are about, and like what's that one? The Jersey Boys guy, Frankie Valli, I think is that his name.
Yeah,
he was into the mafia and stuff like that, and I don't know, man. I don't know how true it is, but I mean, all these movies tie in together to a certain degree. They all have the same type of. There's whacking, there's made men, there's captains, there's bosses, there's families. I mean, I wouldn't know if it's all true or not, but
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know if like how into it you were to where like if you knew like how accurate like that structure is and, like to the movies and things like that. Like,
I enjoy Sopranos, man.
I never watched The Sopranos.
Blasphemy. Oh,
I told you,
God.
like that's the Italian mafia thing's not really my jam.
I hear you, man. It's not. It doesn't do it for you.
It's not that it doesn't do it for me. I just don't look forward to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go watch The Irishman or something like that. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
You know, it's just like, I mean, I'll watch it, and you know what's funny is I'll watch them and I always enjoy them.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not gonna go like hunt one down and go find the next like Italian mafia movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'll watch Goodfellas if it's on. I'll watch Goodfellas all day. But that's just because Ray Liotta and Joe Pesci are fucking funny as shit in that movie.
Well, if you like Joe Pesci, you're gonna love Casino.
Is he in Casino?
He's in Casino, yes, and he is just as great as he was in Goodfellas. The guy's, I mean, yeah, it's phenomenal. And I know you've seen The Irishman, right? You didn't like it?
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't watch it? Okay. Irishman, great movie, but I mean, Godfather, Irishman, it's there's no comparison. It's night and day. Godfather's always going to succeed over that. Now, what did you think of the Godfather 2?
So the Godfather 2 was long as fuck.
Yeah, no, it's a super long movie for sure.
It was a little confusing to me because it was shot for shot, like it was almost impossible to tell the time jumps. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like,
I see.
I had to really pay attention. Yeah, because
it's like American History X.
Right. But American History X is, you can tell the time jumps because Edward Norton had a shaved head and didn't have a shaved head. And it wasn't that big of a time jump. You know what I mean? Like, they don't, in the Godfather, they very rarely refer to the Godfather, the Don, as Vito Corleone. I mean, occasionally they do, but like when you're watching the Godfather Part 2 and you don't like get that, like, okay, this is a flashback,
right?
Like it's basically like a backstory of how he became the Godfather.
Yes, right.
You know what I mean? Like
it opens up pretty much as him like coming to America.
Yeah, and you know, like basically why he came to America, because that guy, you know, his dad wouldn't you know, turn down the request of the mob boss in Corleone, Italy.
Yeah.
And then was like, so the whole family was murdered, and he was the only one that made it out of the village and made it to America, whatever. And then, you know, was basically a mute. He didn't talk. So he was like autistic or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But did you get that? Like,
what's that?
Was that accurate? Is that an accurate guess that like he was autistic as a child and like? And
well, I mean, okay, so
because in the Godfather Part 2, like I think they try to make that correlation between Michael's son. You know what I mean? Because Michael's son doesn't really talk either. Anthony doesn't really talk either. Like, and Kay is like, you know, he's not okay, and Michael's like, he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
You know what I mean? Like,
I see. Yeah, I can see that. I can totally see
my
that.
first gut reaction was, oh, the kid's like on the spectrum. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
okay. I didn't get that. The only thing I got from Godfather Part 2 was like the guy is from fucking Italy. He probably doesn't know any English at all. He goes to America,
but he didn't even try.
Well, no, he didn't try,
and he didn't even talk Italian to the people that were speaking Italian to him.
Yeah, you're right. It's just the trauma this kid has went through, and it's very possible it could have been on the spectrum, and it could have been a tie-in to Michael's son. But the trauma the kid went through by seeing his mom murdered, his dad was killed, the whole family's pretty much done, and he has to escape, and he's going to a whole new world. I mean, that's the only reason why I think that he didn't talk at all. But then he finally made something of himself by meeting what's the guy from Goodfellas, with the curly Q hair? What the fuck is his name? I forgot.
Oh,
Jenko, his friend Jenko or something like that. And they go to the opera and stuff like that. And that's when they meet Fanucci, and he's like, "Oh no, don't mess with Fanucci." You know,
yeah.
That freaking guy.
Yeah. And then they fucking and then they're like, "Well, why can't we just?" Then he's like, "Oh, he has to give up his job at the market so that the other guy can get a job, because that's what that guy says." And then he's like, well, I made my own, business. We make this much, and this guy wants a cut of it, whatever. And he's like, well, why should we?
Yeah.
He's like, because you don't fuck with him. But why?
Right.
Like, who is this guy? This is his fucking neighborhood. But why is it his fucking neighborhood? Because we let it be his fucking neighborhood.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, because y'all are being cowards. And then he's like, why don't we just do something about it? No, you don't do anything. You just do this. This is what you do.
It isn't when he first meets Clemenza, right? He's talking with Clemenza about this,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
and who the fuck plays Clemenza? I mean, God rest his soul. What's his name?
In the original movie?
Yeah, Clemenza. Yeah, in Godfather Part 2.
The older Clemenza?
Yeah, no, the younger Clemenza. He's in City Slickers Part 2 or Part 1.
Yeah.
The fuck is his name?
He plays the sporting goods guy.
Yeah, Bruno something. Kirby. Bruno Kirby. There you go.
Is that what his name is?
Yeah, man. Yeah, fucking guy died of like cancer or something at a young age.
Did he really?
Yeah, man. Right after City Slickers, I think. But yeah, that guy, he played, and that was a good casting because I could see how the fat Clemenza in Godfather Part 1 could kind of resemble this fucking Bruno Kirby guy.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
But yeah, Finucci, man, it just, the way they, I guess, Robert De Niro just decided, like, this guy got to go. He's, deteriorating the neighborhood. Everybody fears him and stuff, and he'd much rather be the guy on top. It seemed like he had a good purpose, like he meant good, the Vito, because of that one scene where I guess they evict this lady because of her pets or her dogs.
Because of her dog, yeah. And he pays the guy, and he's like, fuck you and your fucking Italian, all the fucking Italian nicknames that he calls him. You greasy guinea, whatever, you know. Yeah. And then like he's like, you go ask your friends around the neighborhood about me, and they'll tell you the same thing. Like if I'm in your debt for a favor, like I'm the kind of person that you want to owe you a favor.
Exactly.
And then he comes back later, and he's like, let me give you all your money back. I had no idea that she was such a good friend of yours.
Yeah, he's shaking.
I'll even leave the rent the same, and I'll lower the rent.
It's funny that you mentioned the insults, man. Do you remember in Godfather Part 1?
Oh man, they're so bad.
Where Tom goes to, I guess that movie director, and he's trying to get the guy, and he's like, you know, who are you? You grease balls coming over here to hustling me. You're trying to hustle me, and he's like, I'm German Irish. Well, let me tell you something, my Kraut Mick friend. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, back then, like, it was blatant racism was like basically okay, and I mean, it was basically okay. Everybody did it, and that's one of those iconic scenes when the guy wakes up with the severed horse head in his bed. Holy shit! I mean, just think about the logistics of making that happen.
You know, that was a real horse head.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was. It is a true fact that horse was being shipped off or being killed for soap or something like that, and they used that horse head.
Oh my god!
And it was a real head.
I mean, like, the guy wakes up and he's covered in blood. Yeah. I mean, and then the horse that he's talking about, he paid all this money for.
You have to put him out to stud.
Yeah. And that's a lot of money because, like, you put him out to stud, you're talking, $2-3 grand a pop, maybe more. And I mean, that's a lot of money. So, I mean, they cut this fucking horse's head off, and the logistics of getting it into this guy's fucking bed while he's sleeping and him not noticing.
So while the fake head was used during rehearsals, Coppola swapped it with a real one for the actual shot, meaning the screams you hear from actor John Marley was absolutely genuine.
Wow.
Oh, that's terrible, man. I don't think they can get away with that in this day and age of movie making.
Every once in a while they do.
Do they really?
Yeah, every once in a while they get away with shit like that. It depends on who's on set, but as long as you get the shot, like, if you get fined, you just roll it into the budget.
There you go. There you go.
So, like, that do you ever watch Parks and Rec?
I've been meaning to. Okay,
man. So there's a scene in Parks and Recreation where I think it's in the second season, maybe it's in the first season. There's a scene where Chris Pratt's character, Andy Dwyer, is like, he rolls up to not Tina Fey, what Amy Poehler, is it Amy
Amy
Poehler?
Poehler, yeah.
So he rolls up to her house like, and he's naked, like, and he like, she opens the door and he's standing there naked, and like, you know, it's supposed to elicit a reaction from her, you know, whatever. And he, you know, they're shooting the scene over and over again, and he's wearing like these flesh tone underwear.
Oh, nice.
and like he said, like he was like, I'm just not getting the reaction that I want. Like the director was like, you know, I don't know, maybe like, he's like, I don't know, this is not the reaction that I want out of this. And Chris is like, all right, do it one more time, make sure everybody's set.
Nice. Don't tell me what he...
And he fucking rolls up. Nobody knows. He fucking he drops him and then pops out, and she opens the door and he's really naked. And she, like, the look of shock on her face, and then like almost laughter, and like that was the reaction that they wanted, you know?
Nice.
And then like that's the cut that makes it into the show. That was the last one. And he got fined a lot of money for that, like $5,000 for doing that.
Man, you got the shot though. Like, fuck. I mean,
exactly.
That's why, you know, you got people like, you know, it was Chris Pratt, right?
Yeah.
Fucking, you know, playing fucking, you know, in Guardians and shit. And,
you know, that's interesting that you say that, because Chris Pratt was hired to do Guardians of the Galaxy when he was still shooting Parks and Rec.
Really?
And he was fat. Like, I don't know if you watch Parks and Rec.
No. Never.
Parks and Rec, like, Chris Pratt is fat.
Nice.
Like, and he got hired and was not asked to lose weight or get in shape.
Yeah.
Like they hired him because of his acting chops only.
That's crazy.
And then he was like, well, if I'm going to be a superhero, and he just went and got fucking
lean.
cut.
Yeah. Because after that, he went and did the whole Jurassic World thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the Jurassic World thing.
And then he got a little fat in part 2, right? In Guardians?
A little, not as much as he was in Parks and Rec.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, maybe in Endgame he got fat. That's what it was. I think it was Endgame. Or was it Infinity War? Where they made, like, he made fat jokes.
Oh yeah, that was he was like, he's like, you're one step away from you're one sandwich away from being a fat guy. He was like, I'm going to commit. I'm going to get a Bowflex.
I'm going to get a Bowflex. You can do it. Oh, that's so good. Remember the Bowflex commercials with the guy with the fucking long hair that puts the ponytail inside his hat? He wears the hat frontwards and he puts the ponytail like in the back of the hat where there's like a little hole in it.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. I like if you have long hair and you know, put a ponytail and you wear a hat, there's only one way to wear a hat. You got to put that tail in that fucking hole in the hat. That's hilarious.
So this is a picture. This is a picture of Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, like during Parks and Rec, and then after he got cast and got shredded for Guardians.
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
Wow, that is a big difference, man.
Yeah. Like he was pretty big at his biggest, you know what I mean? And like you and I are both big guys. Like he was not. I mean, he wasn't as big as us, but I mean, he was still like
no. But the fact that he get cast to play Star-Lord. No, well, I mean, did they ask him that you got to drop the male bees or
no? No, they didn't. That was not a requisite of him being cast.
Interesting. Wow, well, good for him.
So he did it without that, and on Parks and Rec, he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
There's some lines that he has on there.
Is that where that meme's from? Whenever like someone says something and it's like a shocking face and a zoom into Chris Pratt's face, like
where he's like,
yeah, is that from Parks and Rec?
Parks and Rec.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and so yeah, there's a lot of he's got a lot of great great stuff in that show. There's we could go on and on about. Anyway, let's back to the Godfather Part 2. So what got me about the Godfather Part 2 is like, Michael's trying to take the family legit. He's trying to get the family involved in all these casinos and buy these this hotel out from under Mo Green. And that
was in Part 1 actually.
Was.
Yeah, where Mo, he goes and talks to.
I thought that he was trying to make him sell out part of it. Anyway, so
he was going with Hyman Roth.
Hyman Roth, that's what it was. So, like, he's trying to go legit, and all these, that's kind of happening. But, what the film does is it builds up this whole, it builds up this whole thing of, you know, everything falling apart. Everything is falling apart, and like there's no they build it to the point to where like Michael can't control this shit anymore.
Right.
And then it interlaces it with a brilliant job by fucking De Niro playing a young Vito Corleone.
Yes.
Which that's what was confusing for me at first. I was like, who is this guy? Because it's shot and it's almost the same time period, and it's like it was really odd until like I figured out that I was like, okay, this is a young Vito Corleone. This is him coming to America and kind of making his fortune and like kind of making his way and like becoming the and then he goes back to fucking Corleone, Italy. And then for revenge, and the fucking scene where he stabs him and like cuts him, I'm like, oh my god, it's so fake. Like you can see, like,
oh yeah, that's hilarious, man. But the poor bastard's deaf, and he was about to die anyways, man. It's like it kind of defeats the purpose of killing him already, you know. Like, I mean, I get why you did it. You should have killed him a while back, though. I think.
Well, I don't think that he could get over there before then.
Maybe
like, I really don't think he had the means.
Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean? Like. And like the scene where the guy gets shot with the shotgun, and then like it's shot like a landmine goes off underneath him. He like flips over backwards and shit.
That's right. And then his friend's there, right? Jinko, I think. Damn, who is this guy? I think his name is Jinko, the guy from freaking Goodfellas. You remember at the was it Goodfellas? Where is that the where he's in Goodfellas where he's frozen in the ice truck and he's hanging in the ice truck. I don't know. Ah, damn it. Okay, well, never mind. But yes, in that Godfather Part 2, when I think they're in is it Puerto Rico?
No, they're in Havana.
Havana. Yeah, they're
because they're like, all right, Cuba. Yeah, we've got all this good shit going on in Cuba, and then the Cuban Revolution happens while they're there, and like so like. Michael's like, oh, Hyman Roth is moving against me. Yes. I'm gonna move against what is his name, Penelucci or whatever.
Frank Severo. That's who it is.
Okay, so is that the actor's name?
That's it's the actor's name.
So
you ever seen a Wedding Singer?
Yes.
Where I guess it's his friend or something like that. Like, oh man, I don't even know the fucking scene, man. But every time you see him, he has a fucking girl. I'm surprised you don't know who he is, man.
So
Havana, Cuba.
So like when he tries to kill Pentangeli, you know what I mean?
Who's that one again?
The guy that he's the guy that was going to testify against Michael in the Senate hearings.
That's right.
They try to kill him.
Yeah, that's
but then
right.
The cop walks in and like they don't finish it, and like there's that big shootout with them in the
yes, at the bar.
Yeah,
and he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. So he makes it out of there, and then the bad guy. Who the fuck is that guy? That's like the whole movie. He's like. With the black hat and black coat, you know what I mean? The black fedora.
Yes.
He's like the assassin guy, and he's going to go kill.
Fucking Deadpool, man.
Who's he? He's going to go smother. Is it Hyman Roth?
Yeah,
he's going to go smother, and like the cops walk in and blast him as he's doing it.
Yeah, because the nurses go out because they're celebrating New Year's, and it's like it's his time. But yes, the cops come in,
the cops come in and blast him and fuck up Michael's plans twice. So like, Pentangeli is still alive, and then. Then Hyman Roth is still alive, and then Michael thinks that it's Hyman Roth the whole time that's been plotting against him, but it wasn't.
Right.
It was
fucking.
It was who? See, that's what I never got. Who was it that was actually plotting against him? Fredo's the one that sold out the information on it, but like that wasn't who the actual bad guy was. Like that was like against him.
No, I think it was Fredo the whole time. I think Fredo's the one that called for the hit on his family.
No, he gave them the information.
To Johnny Ola.
He gave them the information, and because he was like, I didn't know it was going to be a hit.
Oh, that's right.
Motherfucker.
Hey, we don't have a table here, but you got that beard for it to like soak up all that spillage.
God damn it. All right. Anyway.
But no, it was either, okay, you're right. He did not know it was going to be a hit. It had to have been Hyman Roth then, or Pentangeli, one of the two. But what about that scene when he's testifying and they wheel in his brother?
They didn't wheel him in. He walked.
Oh, he walked in. Yeah, okay, that's right.
And he sees his brother, and he's like, "I was just fucking around. These guys wanted to tell me, beep bobbity, they tell me I'm gonna get this, and then I was just making shit up." And I was like, "Holy shit, dude, that was fucking great." Because it was like, at that point, like Michael didn't plead the fifth, so under oath, like they couldn't prove anything,
right? And
he knew that. So, like, under oath, he swore that he was not involved in any of those things. And since they couldn't provide a credible witness, he was like, "You're going to owe me an apology. You're accusing me and slandering my name." And they're like, "We do have a witness." And then their fucking witness walks in, and it's Pentangeli, and he's like, "Nah, I'm just fucking around." You know what I mean? Because he knew, like,
his
that,
brother
like,
was about to get whacked.
Well, he knew that, like, no matter what, like, he was dead.
Yeah.
The FBI guys couldn't hold him in protection for forever.
Yeah.
And it was like, don't do the honorable thing and, like, don't fuck this up, and then just go be a man and go fucking kill yourself before you get whacked.
Did he kill himself?
Yeah, he kills himself in the bathtub.
That's right.
He slits his wrists in the bathtub.
That's right. Damn.
Because they talk about the Roman baths and shit like that, and, like, because Tom Hagen goes and, like, tells him, that was the honorable thing to do when they tried to betray the emperor in the ancient Rome.
Fuck, man, I got to rewatch Godfather Part 2. I know it's a great fucking film, but I mean, I have the Godfather on loop on my screensaver, so I'm always I get home tonight and I'll watch it probably because it's on my screensaver on my computer. But the scene where
what gets me, like, I guess, like, the whole thing, what throws me with both of these movies is how different Pacino is in this movie than he is in, like, Scarface.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Big time different.
Like,
he's
like in fucking Scarface, man. He's and he's just like abrasive, and then like, these movies, he's just cold and calculating, and that just goes to show you, like, the depth of Pacino's acting skills. You know what I mean? Like, he can play either or, and, like, he never loses that character of Michael Corleone. You know what I mean? Like, he's like the family, he never leaves that, never loses that. And that's fucking great, man. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's awesome that he's able to, like, maintain that the whole time. And you never lose track of that ever throughout either one of those movies, is, like, his convictions to that character.
Just like that one scene, man, where they're going out and I guess it's like a little sex show, and you hear Fredo say, "Oh yeah, Johnny Ola told."
Oh yeah, and that's when he knows.
Oh, and you feel the air come out of his breath, like you feel like the gut check that he just had. When my brother
because
betrayed me.
Because earlier he was like, "Oh, I've never met Johnny.
I never met Johnny Ola." Yeah,
and then he's like, "Yeah, Fredo, you broke my heart."
Yeah, he gives him a kiss.
Yeah,
and I know what you did. I know what you. Yeah, I know it was you. That's right. And he can see, man, I feel the guy that played Fredo, he died a little bit after. I think he played the Deer Hunter in that movie Deer Hunter that he died.
Oh, really?
But yeah, you just see him, like, whenever he's like, "I know what you did. You broke my heart," and he shakes him like it's like a fucking hatred shake.
Yeah,
like he's pissed at hell.
Yeah, and then, like, he's like, "You're fucking done. Like, you're out of this fucking family." Like, and then, like,
he doesn't touch him because his mom's still alive.
Yeah, and he's like, once mama's dead, like, that was, and then he fucking there's a lot of foreshadowing in the movie. So they talk about the fishing thing a couple of times, and then he's going to take little Anthony fishing,
right?
And then he's like, no, Anthony's not going with you. He's going with Michael. He'll be back tonight. Hang on. That coronavirus.
Oh shit! Is that Eureka Heights virus?
No, there ain't no Eureka Heights virus. It's just my allergies. Fucking pollen in Houston is nasty right now.
No shit, yeah.
But, and then, like, the guy, like, he's doing the fucking Hail Mary, and the guy fucking pops him in the back of the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's shit like that when they do. Now, like, it's every fucking mafia movie that they fucking pop somebody like that. Like, but this was, like, the original, like, you don't see it coming. You know what I mean? Like, you see it coming now because you've seen all these movies and you expect it. But I'm assuming that like watching the movie, for me, I was watching it and I was like, something's gonna happen. I think he may kill him, and then he fucking kills him, and you're just like, you have to like kind of take a step back, and you're like, man,
yeah,
fucking A. Like, I didn't see, like, if I had not like known about mafia movies, I wouldn't have known that was gonna happen.
Right. It's just like, you ever seen American Me with Edward James Olmos?
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. No, I haven't seen American Me. I only know about it from next Friday.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do you like American Me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Well, there's, I think because of that scene, that don't look at me little puppet, is because so you have the mafia mentality going on in the prison, right? It's just really like you got your Mexicans, you got your white supremacists, you got your blacks and everything. They're kind of in segregated groups. But this one in the Mexican, I guess the Mexican mafia, I don't know what it was, but they were the guy didn't do a job in prison. So whenever he got out, so whenever the other guy got out, he was ordered to kill his younger brother. And his younger brother I believe his name was Little Puppet. So what happens is that after he got married, they take him out and like, I need to go piss. So he pisses on the side, and the older brother gets a freaking like fish wire and strangles him. And he's looking at him. He's looking at him like, don't look at me. Don't look at me. And his name's Little Puppet, I think. And he just, it's like, fuck, you got to kill your own younger brother. It's the same mentality what's going on in Godfather. The guy kills his older brother, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it goes around in all these other movies. Like in fucking, I want to say it happens in Sopranos at some point, man, but I'm not going to ruin it. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to, how many seasons of Sopranos are there? 8?
6 or, I think season 6 goes into season 6A and then season 6B, which is stupid.
What?
Yeah.
Why not just do 2 seasons?
I think that was during the writer's block. I think whatever. Back in 2003, I think there was the writers guild.
The writer's strike?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, whatever.
The writer's block. Anyway, yeah. So, I mean, like, the whole, I mean, what's tough to follow is, like, all these fucking characters and their names, like, all these super Italian names are, like, super hard to follow. Like, and their relationship to Vito Corleone, like, except for the main characters.
Like which one? Like give me.
I know, like your name and like was Pentangeli in the first one, because he's his uncle in New York.
Yeah. So if you read the book,
I'm not reading the book.
Yeah, no, I'm reading the book. I'm sick that way, but I'm reading the book, and there's a lot more like they talk about Pentangeli, and they talk more about,
because that's the whole thing. Is like what I don't get. Because he's like, oh yeah, like the family, but if Vito Corleone came over by himself, like there shouldn't be anybody but his kids. That's it. That's the family. Like, who were all these other motherfuckers? I know that Tom Hagen was adopted by Vito,
right.
and he's always like, he tells Michael like, I've been, and you know what's funny is like he's the one that you expect to like betray Michael, but like the more you get used to his character, the more you see that like he's the most loyal person.
He wants to be accepted.
Yeah, and
so he tells Michael, "Why am I out?" Like when he's like, "You're out."
Yeah,
like, but why am I out? He didn't want to be out, but yeah, I mean, that's a good question. You know what I mean? Like who are these? Oh, that's your uncle. I guess it could have been his mom's. Yeah.
Like Vito's wife's family.
Like Luca Brasi, the guy that, like, I'm here to, I'm here
on the day of your daughter's wedding. Yeah. He was like an enforcer, right? Like he was.
Yeah, he was the enforcer. And that was like his right hand man. Like you're gonna do a job, and I expect you to do it, and bam, that's it, right? But there's a lot of stories with Luca in the build up. Right when like Robert De Niro's character and Marlon Brando's character. There's a lot of Luca Brasi was like his good friend. And they don't really talk about that at all. He's only there for like 10 minutes in the part 1.
Yeah, and like I don't understand why he wouldn't be invited to the wedding. Like he was like, because he was like, I was surprised that I was invited to the wedding.
That's true. Good point.
So I mean, it's I don't know. There's a lot of things in there like you learn all these things about like respect. Like the first movie kind of sets up the whole like you don't disrespect the family kind of thing, and you know what I mean. Like it seems like all of these most mafia movies always come about with things like at the end of some kind of era. You know what I mean? Like it's always the end of like the kids are coming up and coming into power, and like they don't want to do things like their parents did. So it's like there's always this power struggle,
right?
So and that's what I'm curious about is like how much does that really happen, and like how I mean. Why can't we just get a mafia movie where it's just about like their day-to-day shit and nothing's changing? No, there's no power struggle, and like at the end of the like I would like a mafia movie where it's like okay, like I would like a Goodfellas movie where at the end of it they just get fucking whacked for doing a bad job. Okay. Kind of like well, I mean, I guess that does happen to Joe Pesci in Goodfellas because he fucking killed a made man and he wasn't, you know.
I think what you need to do is that's what you're looking for. You need to watch Casino.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because like in all these movies, in both the Godfather movies and most of the other movies, mafia movie things that I've seen, like the bad guy, or, you know, like the antagonist and the protagonist, I should say, in the Godfather, the guy that you're rooting for, the protagonist, is Michael, and Michael comes out on top. In Godfather 2, Michael comes out on top. Right. In The Departed, Leonardo DiCaprio, he comes out on top.
Does he though?
I mean, for the most part, yeah.
He gets killed at the end, though.
Leo does?
Yeah, he gets killed by the guy, like, you know, because he has Matt Damon in the fucking elevator, and then he opens the elevator, and then he gets, like, popped right in the head. Like,
but does Matt Damon die also?
Well, Matt Damon dies because Mark Wahlberg comes in. When he's on a leave of absence, he comes in with his fucking
that's
white...
because he figured it out.
He figured it out, and he kills Matt Damon while he's holding groceries. But still, that's a fucking great movie. Leonardo DiCaprio died. You didn't even know that he was going to die, and that just took you out. Oh, wow.
So that's a great movie. Maybe that's why I like that movie so much, is because nobody wins in that movie. Like, everybody fucking loses. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, in Goodfellas, like, Ray Liotta, like, doesn't even come out. He doesn't come out on top of that one. You know what I mean? Like, Joe Pesci gets fucking popped.
Well, he does. I mean, doesn't he go into, like, a witness protection?
Yeah, he goes into witness protection. But he doesn't make it in the fucking mafia or whatever.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
No, you're
like,
right.
It's I don't know. I would like to see like a movie where like the Departed was fucking great. You know what I mean? Like nobody like at the end of it, you're just like, fuck, man. The two guys, like Matt Damon's trying to turn his shit around. Like he's gonna be. He fucking got rid of organized crime. The whole fucking mafia is down.
Yeah.
And like he's planted himself as a cop. Nobody knows that he's a crooked fucking cop. Like, and now he's gonna win. Like he got all the spoils. Like and then Leonardo DiCaprio's going down as a fucking like a mobster, like a mafia hitman or whatever.
Like
you know
reverse,
what I mean?
Like
and like
up.
he was the one who was supposed to be helping the cops bring down the organized crime. And like the whole time you're like, fuck this Matt Damon motherfucker. And then that's right, because Leo gets killed and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you're like, God damn it, this motherfucker's got the penthouse, the hot chick, that's the fucking therapist for Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's fucking crazy.
And then fucking Mark Wahlberg fucking Ethan hunts it into the apartment and fucking pops his ass. And I was like, oh, thank God. That's right. That's why that movie's so good. Yeah. You're reminding me. That's the movie I need to watch again is The Departed.
Departed's great.
Where's your fucking boy? Where's your boy?
Fucking Martin Sheen, man. Oh, that's fucking great.
The dialogue in that movie. How's your mother? She's tired from fucking my father. Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe go fuck yourself.
You want them health freaks? Go smoke a cigarette. You want a health free time?
Yeah,
go fuck yourself.
Alec Baldwin's great in that fucking movie. Alec Baldwin is in Mission Impossible, the last two, Rogue Nation and Fallout, and he's really good in both of those also.
Fucking Alec Baldwin. He was also in fucking Beetlejuice.
Was he?
Yeah, that was him and with Gina Davis.
Right.
Young Gina Davis and young Alec Baldwin.
That's right.
It's hilarious.
Fucking Alec Baldwin, man. He's great.
He has a dick and everything.
Dude, I mean, of all the Baldwin brothers, like, he's the one that, like, did the most legitimate movies, and, like, he was the best actor out of all of them.
Yeah, I can,
Did you ever watch him on 30 Rock?
No, but I heard that's great.
Yeah, it's fucking great. One of the best scenes is, like, he's in a museum, like, looking at an artwork, and Tina Fey's character, Liz Lemon, walks up behind him, and he's like, he just starts talking to her, like, doesn't turn around, doesn't know that she's there, and she's like, how did you know that was me? And he goes, to be honest, I've said that line about 15 times to the wrong people. But as long as I keep doing it, basically.
That's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome.
All straight-faced and shit, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I think that one of so going back to, like, our original conversation about The Godfather and why is it everybody's favorite movie, and I think that, like, it ends up at the top of those lists because if you take it in context of being like, that's the original, like, it's fucking great.
Right.
I mean, if you think about it, like, it sets the tone for every mafia movie ever, basically.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without it, there is no Sopranos, there's no fucking Goodfellas, there's no Casino, there's none of that shit. There's no Departed.
Right.
So, I mean, and Francis Ford Coppola has made a fucking fortune telling the same story kind of over and over again.
Right.
The same kind of fucking characters. Because all these guys are the same characters over and over again. The ruthless fucking mafia gangster. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when they say your favorite movie and it's the top, like, 3 on everyone's radar, it's just... I get it. I guess from a cinematic standpoint.
Do you think that it's that way because people feel like if they don't put it up there, they're going to be like, why wouldn't you put the fucking Godfather?
No, because, I mean, if you were to ask me, like, if I'm walking down the street and someone's like, hey, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, I don't know if I'll go to Godfather, but if they say put your Godfather, I mean, your movies in rankings, Godfather would definitely be up there. And the reason why I say it wouldn't be Godfather is because, I mean, it's only on my screensaver on my computer, right? That's the only time I'll really watch it. But if it's like, if I'm going to put on a movie, I'm not going to put on The Godfather. I'm probably going to put on something funny like Friday or, Half Baked or something like that. It's just something, to make me laugh. So, I mean, if that's what I'm going to first, would that be my favorite movie? You know what I mean? Like right now, what movie would you put on right now just because you just want to watch something?
Dude, I don't know.
Fuck you, Rob.
I don't know, dude. I watch movies all the time. So, like, if I'm just going to put on
I'm about to go to sleep. You're about to go to sleep. And, like, I want to watch something.
That's not a good analogy because I can't watch movies and go to sleep.
Oh, my gosh.
I'll stay up and watch the whole thing. I know. It's a loaded question. My daughter asked me the other day, what's your favorite band? And I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I was like, she asked me what my favorite song of all time was. I was like, fuck, I don't know. I was like, it's way easier to say, like, I have a favorite band. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if I was going to have to pick a movie, like, if you were like, you have one movie and you have to watch that movie on loop for the rest of your fucking life, like, I would just be like, I don't want to watch anything. Like, that sounds terrible. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because after a while, any movie is going to be fucking garbage. I don't know. Like, if you're talking like what kind of style of movie I would put on, I like adventure movies.
Yeah.
I like adventures or mysteries or things that have to do with I like incorporating history in some kind of weird way. You know what I mean? Like, you know what movies I watched this week that I thought were really interesting? Okay. I watched Noah.
Oh, nice.
With Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Which was directed by, it was written and directed by fucking, what's that guy's name? Landrum was over here and he was like, oh, you're watching Noah? And he's like, he's the one that told me about this. So I'm going to look it up because it's really...
Noah. Russell Crowe.
It's Russell Crowe. It's got Jennifer Connelly in it, who I really love.
And her eyebrows.
Yeah, and it's got Emma Watson in it from
nice.
From
Harry Potter. Yeah.
So Darren Aronofsky.
Okay.
So Darren Aronofsky is an atheist.
Nice.
but he said growing up, he always thought that the story of Noah was a very intriguing story. The story of basically like God getting tired of his creation and wanting to wipe it off the face of the earth. And like, and he said like it kind of gave him a way to tell the creation story from an atheist point of view, like how an atheist would look at it if they were a believer, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like what that would look like, what that world kind of looked like. So I kind of like movies like that. Like I thought Noah was really good. Like it incorporated, the biblical story of Noah, but it also like, the perspective from which it was shot was really interesting. It wasn't focused solely on like a historical point of view, you know what I mean? Like it was very much like they didn't call him God, they referred to him as the creator. Right. There's a creator, and then there's the watchers that are angels that are on earth, and the bad humans are descendants of Cain, and Russell Crowe's Noah's a descendant of Seth, and like they're I don't know, there's just a lot of things that happen, and like the interpretation of God's will versus what God's will actually is, and there's a lot of that back and forth. And then I watched Exodus of Gods and Kings.
Oh yeah.
Which is another biblical movie, kind of open to interpretation kind of thing. With Christian Bale, I thought it was okay. But those are the kind of movies I like. I like ancient Egypt movies. I really am fascinated with ancient Egypt and like
the Ten Commandments.
No, more like
the Mummy.
Yeah, I really like the Mummy movies. I really liked the way that I like movies that incorporate that kind of try to explain why things would have happened a certain way in the past. You have ancient Egypt and they talk about these certain gods and things like that. There's, Seth, the god of death, and Horus and Osiris, and, all their gods and things like that. And,
what about the Da Vinci Code?
Star Trek, not Star Trek, Stargate. Mm-hmm. How that kind of explains why they would believe the things that they believed, and the pyramids and things like that.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Movie, actually.
I really liked. Most people are not going to like this movie, but I really liked. What was that? Gods of Egypt with fucking. I talked about it the last podcast
you
when
did.
Ryan was on. I really liked that movie. Those are the kind of movies I like. I liked. What did you say?
Da Vinci Code.
I did like the Da Vinci Code. I've watched all of the Da Vinci Code and Inferno. And
what about National Treasure?
I like National Treasure.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of movies
you incorporate
that I like.
history with your movies.
Those are the kind of movies that really kind of those are the movies that blow my skirt up. So
gotcha.
If I had to pick a genre of movie, it would be one of those.
Yeah, very cool.
So I mean, I like a good comedy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to choose a movie to put on, I really like those kind of movies, and I like Knives Out, or like mystery thriller kind of murder mystery kind of movies.
Okay.
Where
Saw?
you have to kind of figure it out. No, that's more of a horror.
Okay.
Where you're it's like a cringy kind of movie. I like movies where you have to figure out the mystery as it's going.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I don't want to know who, trying to figure out who the killer is, but from the perspective of the police, nobody's really kind of in danger anymore.
Like the Knowing. Have you ever seen The Knowing with Nicolas Cage?
Oh, Knowing.
Or Knowing.
Yeah, I just watched that a couple last week.
Oh yeah, that's a great fucking movie.
It's all right. I mean, I didn't see where it was.
That scene where the fucking plane crash.
Yeah,
it's fucked up.
I mean, at the very when he figures out what everything is, I'm like, where are they going with this? And then it ends up being aliens, and you're like, oh man, I don't know that I like that, but I don't know, it was cool.
It's all about solar flares, right? It was just coming closer to Earth or something like that.
Yeah, it was going to be a coronal mass ejection. So a coronal mass ejection from a star is you have like our star, so like the sun, like when you think about the sun, like is mostly made up of hydrogen and helium. So a coronal mass ejection is when you have all these, small nuclear explosions and fission reactions going on. And a coronal mass ejection is when kind of you get a breakdown of the quote unquote atmosphere that kind of holds everything together. And a solar flare is kind of an ejection of a small amount of material, but a coronal mass ejection is when it ejects a large amount of material out into space.
Gotcha.
And they're unpredictable. And like, so that's basically what happened was there was a coronal mass ejection that fried the earth. And there was a code telling, like these are the kids that are going, they want to take these two kids with them, the aliens. Yeah. And, like that was kind of cool. Like the way it showed, like it incorporated like the illustrations from the old, like the Crusader, like the double spinning wheel and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and you're like, what is it that they were, trying to, what is it that they saw? Like Ancient Aliens kind of does that same thing. Like what was it they were trying to describe? Like what would it actually be? Like from their perspective, they have no way, they have no, frame of reference to what they're seeing. Right. Like what would you describe that as? You know what I mean? Uh-huh. That's kind of where like that came into play a little bit. But yeah, that's the kind of shit that intrigues me. Like,
yeah.
Like what was, like all of our myths and history of the world. Like,
interesting.
Where does that come from?
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Well, I mean, if you ask me what my favorite movie would be, it's hard to say because I can watch comedies all day, all night long, and those are easily my favorite movies. But I don't see them anywhere close to like movies like Godfather, Braveheart, and even Gone with the Wind. How cliche that is, but I watched that like maybe about 6 months ago, and I'm like, that's a fucking long movie too. But yeah, it's a great fucking movie.
It's the highest grossing movie of all time. If you adjusted for inflation.
Oh no shit! Interesting. Wow.
So I mean, like that's one of the cool things about movies is you get to kind of pick what you want. You want to talk about like your favorite movie of all time. I think it'd be easier to say like what movie like really gets you to where like if you see it on TV, if you're scrolling through looking for something to watch, and you see it on TV, will you stop and watch it? I do that like when Jurassic Park shows up. I'm watching Jurassic Park. But it's not my fucking favorite movie of all time. It's a fucking great film. Yeah, but I mean, would you scroll past Jurassic Park and keep like seeing if there was anything else on? I think I probably would stop and watch it just because my wife doesn't like it when I do that, and I do it anyways. But yeah, I mean, it takes me back to my childhood. I guess that's the reason why I'll stop and watch it. I don't know, man. Yeah. I'm that way with. I mean, there's a couple of movies that I'm that way with. I'll sit and watch Dazed and Confused. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Schindler's List, or not Schindler's List, The Shawshank Redemption. Yeah. Like if that comes on, like I'll stop and watch that. And probably, what's the other movie that I always stop and watch and Melissa gets mad at me for doing it? The Princess Bride. Oh, The Princess Bride. You and Landra mentioned about that. Have you never seen it? I've never seen it. No. When is that? I'll never see that on fucking network TV. It's or on cable TV. Dude, it's so good. It's got Billy Crystal in it and Carrie Elwes and Robin Wright. I like Billy Crystal. What the hell has he been doing? He hasn't done shit. He doesn't need to do shit. He's fucking Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal, but still, like that's a really good movie. You know what other movie? Oh, what was the movie? I just watched it again the other day, and I was like, "This is a really fucking good movie." Forget Paris. I haven't seen that. I've also never seen The Notebook. Nah, Notebook, but Forget Paris is a great Billy Crystal movie, like City Slickers. City Slickers is so good. The second one's even better. With the Legend of Curly's Gold. John Lovitz. Yeah. That guy pisses me off. Or like when what's his name? Is it Stern? Daniel Stern? Is yeah. Where he gets bit by a rattlesnake and like he's about to suck his suck the poison out. Yeah. He's like, you're about to suck my ass. Like, it's fucked up. And that's Bruno Kirby's in the first one. Yeah, Bruno Kirby. I think it was his last movie, unfortunately. City Slickers was? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that. Anyway, I mean, we could talk about movies for forever. Oh yeah, for sure. But anyway, back to our original topic. Yeah, I mean, that The Godfather, I can see why it was on everybody's list. There's a lot of great scenes in there, a lot of scenes that you didn't see coming. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that, like, it's just a great story, like, that you don't, when you think about it in context of it being the original one, it really, you know, makes you understand, like, all the things about it. You know what I mean? So,
I would say that it probably was the original one, I guess, for the mainstream audience. I don't know if it was like the original, like mafia movie. I mean, I can't think of it. The only closest one I could think of is probably the Scarface movie, but it had to do with bootlegging. So I would assume there's a lot of bootlegging movies that have to do with, like, you know.
Yeah, we're talking about the original Italian mafia movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's like the go-to for everyone.
You're talking about the original Scarface from like the 30s.
No, but I'm talking about like I guess like the crime syndicates, right? You know, I don't know. I'm sure there's Italian mafia movies pre-72. I'm sure there is, you know, but I think this is the go-to. Well, everybody, even like Sopranos reference The Godfather all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that there's a reason that it is the go-to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, it's the go-to because, like, it sets a precedent. You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't, there's probably you know, even if that movie hadn't been that good,
yeah,
like had it not been like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes and it been closer to like a 50%, do you think that, like, any more, you know, would you have a Goodfellas or a Casino or a Sopranos?
That's a good question. We would never know. I don't know.
Because maybe Francis Ford Coppola was responsible for most of that shit.
Well, maybe you know, Scorsese will make a Goodfellas, and that'll be The Godfather. That'll be the original, and that'll be the go-to, you know, or something like that. I mean, it's hard to reference that, but yeah, I don't know. Good point.
So interesting.
I guess on that note, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're out. I'm Rob.
Have you seen Godfather Part 3?
No, because that came out like 1991.
Yeah. I've seen it like once, and it's like not the greatest.
I heard it's not that good, so I didn't watch it.
And I heard that they were supposed to make a Godfather Part 4 with Leo DiCaprio back in the day. This was like 15, 20 years ago.
What was he supposed to be?
I have no fucking idea. I have no idea.
Well, they did. They made The Departed.
There you go.
That's Godfather Part 4.
Yeah, I guess. And on that note, sir.
I am Rob.
I am Jake.
And we are Gentlemen No Class. Thank you for joining us. Sans Paul again. Everybody send him your hate mail. And we'll catch you on the next episode.